class. I'm Tammy Tragus-McCook, your instructor, and I'm with Jenny Say. Say it, your last name for me.
Tse.
Say. Say it again.
Tse.
Okay. Tse. And we're in Sipping Streams. This is her business. And we're going to find out what Jenny is looking for in a social media marketing plan. So tell us what happens at Sipping Streams.
So Sipping Streams isn't just a tea house and boutique. We're actually a manufacturer. So Sipping Streams is our own brand of tea. We do all of our own custom blending, packaging. We sell wholesale throughout the Northwest, not just in Alaska. We sell all the way down to Wyoming and Oregon. So Sipping Streams Tea Company is a tea company that happens to have a store location in Fairbanks that makes all of our own food from scratch and is a retail store also. We do have an online store, but Sipping Streams specializes in specialty loose leaf teas and tea education. So we have tea classes here too and different events.
And so that's your niche, doing the specialty tea and education component. That's what you do best, and that others don't do, not only in Fairbanks, but pretty much nationwide.
Yeah, it's really hard to just focus on that.
And I saw you have a food menu as well. It looks like some pretty yummy stuff up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we sell all sorts of, well, it's kind of eclectic. So I'm from a very culturally diverse background in a way, being Chinese, being a daughter of two amazing chefs, just traveling around the world and eating, and tea is so international, so our food is international. Granted, it has more of an Asian slant to it, because that's what is very unique to Fairbanks, is nobody else makes Asian dim sum style food. And but we also have like English style tea sandwiches, Victorian tea reservations if people want that for tea parties, because nobody else does that here. Mm-hmm. Even by my Vietnamese pork sandwiches, anything that you eat with tea, certain pastries, scones, things like that.
Right, so we invite you to come in and check it out, because it is a delightful place to be, and there's just lots to explore. So if that is your niche, tell us about who your competitors are.
So our competitors are the grocery store. That's the biggest one, because most people just go to the grocery store and buy tea bags. You know, they know tea is good for them, and they just buy tea and don't realize that there's a huge difference. My other competitors statewide would be in Anchorage, Summit Spice Tea Company and Indigo Tea Lounge, and also North Pole Coffee, only because they do coffee and tea. We only do tea. So we do have a lot of competition out there. And I guess you could say the coffee industry is our competition too, because people just don't drink tea as often as they do coffee. Coffee is so common, everybody does it. So as far as the tea industry goes, having a tea specialty company, there's a place for us, but it's not as popular.
Okay. And you were just sharing with me before we got started about UAF and your expansion on UAF, so tell us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, that's really exciting, because last year someone invited me to, a marketing intern I think, invited me to meet with Chartwells in the new Dine 49 area, and they wanted me to do a tea presentation that was educational and introduce students to tea, because Chartwell's mission is to educate people to know where their food comes from, and their theme was the British Isles. So I did a whole presentation on the history of the British Isles and how tea influenced the British Isles. So I had several black teas that were very English style, but England doesn't really grow tea as far as an industry, but teas travel to the British Isles area, and it's been very influential culturally. So I did a tea tasting and sampling and sold tea there, and they were so impressed they wanted to carry my tea just at Dine 49 in Arctic Java. Now this spring, they just extended all of Chartwell's to have our tea served at every single little coffee stand, and even in the little convenience store, they're going to sell the tea and the honey. We also supply honey too. And I don't know, that's really exciting. I didn't expect that at all. I was just thinking it'd just be Dine 49 in Arctic Java, but even the little coffee stand in the library too, so.
So it sounds like a pretty good opportunity, and another chance for students to sample your teas.
Yeah.
check it out.
Well, and we moved so far away. We just moved to the store location in December. So since we moved further away from walking distance, we lost a lot of our student customers.
Right. Well, it's not that far. You could walk from campus. We're down here in Chena Pump Plaza,
Mm-hmm.
so right next to Lulu's Bagels, so you could just come on down and check it out. It's not that far. Tell us, before we move on to your social properties, really quick, I want to talk about the awards that you've won, because it's pretty impressive.
So we've won 10 international awards. One of them was first place at the World Tea Expo for the top tea infusionist competition. Essentially, that's like the international barista competition, but for tea. So it's like making the best cup of tea with what you have. And every cup of tea that is from a serving of tea leaves changes every time you steep it. So it's finding the perfect steeping out of those tea leaves on top of just making a really good cup of tea and knowing a lot about your tea. So yeah, that was crazy that we won first place there. And then the rest of the awards were, one of them's for our Arctic Bliss, that's with low bush cranberries and fireweed that we pick ourselves. And that was our first award we ever won. So not only is it made with Alaskan ingredients, blended by us, but it's also made with Alaskan ingredients, so it's truly an Alaskan tea. That was our first award we ever won. And from there, I just started entering other teas that I was passionate about and that I sourced and visited tea farms, and yeah.
Yeah, well, I hope the students are picking up that there's no doubt you're passionate about your business, and that's a lot of key to the success of any business. So let's move on to your social properties and what you do already, because you do a pretty good job. So I'm curious what you want to get from the students. Do you have an e-news list, a list of emails that you collect and send out messages to?
So we have a rewards program called 5 Stars, and that's a monthly program we pay for. And with that, people can sign up with their cell phone number, so they get text messages of certain promos, classes, announcements, anything, and they get award points. So, and extra promos. So it automatically sends out coupons for how long that person has been a customer of ours to draw them back in. So that's something we started doing a year ago, but we do have a Facebook page, we have a Twitter account, Instagram, we have a website, and then I usually just go around and hang up flyers. We have like a class or something like that.
So who maintains all that social media, the website and the Facebook and the Twitter? Is that you?
Yes, I do all that.
And do you have a plan? Do you know what you're going to be doing for the holidays, or do you just kind of do it as you feel?
Nope, I just do it by the seat of my pants and see how much time I have. Yeah, one thing that I would really like to know more about, which I'm not really versed in that area, is the analytics side. I have a friend who has an online business, and he sells mostly online, even though it's an Alaskan company. And so he gets lots of international orders. So our biggest push probably this year is to try to sell more online, because one of our largest customers is bringing our tea overseas and all over the country to really high-end customers. So through her media outlet of their newsletter, they're an aviation company, we've been getting lots of customers, but right now it's just not streamlined enough and focused on getting the big push of like moving stuff out beyond Alaska. Granted, we do want people to come into our tea house. That's why we're here. Otherwise, we'd just be a factory. But I don't know how to necessarily do like the Google Analytics and to know how well we're performing with that to see if we are successful.
All right, we'll see if we can get the students to work on that. How many hours a week do you think you could devote to you or somebody else, maybe in the future, to social media?
Maybe 2 hours. I'm just like thinking cumulatively, because if someone's like taking a picture here and there on Instagram, it might only take 15 seconds, 30 seconds.
Right.
So it's really hard to say. And usually when I'm posting something, I cross post to everything at the same time.
Okay. And do you have an Instagram account as well?
Yes.
Okay. So do you do any traditional media, any radio, newspaper, anything like that?
I don't so much anymore. I did that for 4 years. I had a radio show on the classic rock station called Tea on Tuesdays. It was really successful, but then it hit a plateau where people were like, oh yeah, I know you, but they weren't coming in anymore. So at first it was great when the tea company first started and I started doing it, and people still remember the radio show. And they know all about tea, what they've listened to, but it just wasn't bringing people in anymore. So, and then sometimes I do Christmas newspaper ads. for like the holidays, for Black Friday or last minute Christmas shopping. But typically I don't see a return. And the way that I see a return is usually it'll be attached with a coupon. So I know if people have been coming in, or I ask people or train my staff to ask people how they heard about us.
Right.
But it just seems a lot more expensive and not an instant of a return. And I think more people are starting to read the Newsminer again. But for a while, it was very skimpy, and the people that I'd ask all the time didn't care about reading newspaper.
Okay. So who do you feel is your target market for to come into the teas or to buy internationally or nationally?
So my target market age group, it's not necessarily, the majority is women for sure.
Okay.
But it's about 30 to, I don't know, maybe 50 years old. Like people who want to maintain health or be healthy and have that lifestyle, because tea is definitely a lifestyle choice where you have to slow down. It's not like you're just popping pills. It's not just a supplement, an instant. But those are the people who will typically spend a lot more money than a person who's just coming in for a cup of tea.
Okay. And before we move on to the successes and challenges that you want to share with the students, also, I think you shared with me you're at the farmer's market and maybe you do the women's affair. There's some other outlets where you distribute your tea.
Yeah, so almost every other weekend I'm traveling in the winter for different shows, like trade shows, bazaars. So farmer's market ends September 17th. So every Wednesday and Saturday I'm at the farmer's market. And throughout the summer especially, because it starts the first weekend of May, I think. And then beginning the first weekend of October, I have shows in Anchorage, and then I have one in Fairbanks next weekend. And then the next weekend I have one in Anchorage, and then the next weekend I have in Fairbanks. And so I'm retail selling my tea. Like I set up a 10 by 10 booth, and I sell tea as if it's a little shop, but it's just retail, not food service. Okay. And that's also how I bring in a lot of new clients who end up ordering online, and they do end up following us.
So you're finding that to be a good return and a good use of your time and resources.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good marketing strategy and helps with sales. But one thing that I would like to do more, if I had resources and time and more structure, is really working on the YouTube channel, because so far I only have YouTube videos for my staff for training.
All right. Oh,
but
all right.
I teach a lot of tea classes, and people have always asked if I would teach a distance learning tea class or to have tea videos, because I'm so informative and knowledgeable about my teas. But I don't have a camera. I have my phone.
Which is fine. So, yeah, that's fine.
And I don't really have enough staff to devote time to that, because they're too busy cooking and making tea and packing orders than just to stand here and make a video for free for someone.
All right, well, let's think about that a little bit and give that that missive to the students. Share with us, so one of the challenges you might say is doing more YouTube. Are there any other social media challenges you'd like the students to address?
I don't really know.
Okay.
I mean, I don't pay attention too much about social media myself as a consumer. So it's really hard to say, because all I do is I know I need to be on it to post stuff for work. But other than that, I just don't have time to look at it.
So tell me what you think has been most successful so far with social media, with you just posting and you're like, wow, I never expected that to run off and get so much sharing and viewing.
Instagram for sure has been really wild, because all of a sudden something I post on Instagram that's also reposted or linked with the Facebook account will have all these views in one day. I'm at the cookie jar, I'm taking a picture of my tea, Sipping Streams tea that's served at the cookie jar with my breakfast on a Sunday, which we're not open on Sundays or Mondays, and there's 1,000 hits already. I'm like, what? That's crazy. What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that implies. Is that going to increase with sales? I don't know. And our partnership with Yukon Quest, so around that time in February or end of January, everyone's buying up the 1,000 Mile tea, because we're an official tea sponsor of the Yukon Quest. So there's these phases that I know people are going to look for, but I'm not sure if it's social media that has brought people, or if it's an event and then they look on social media.
All right, good to know. I don't know if we can solve that, but we can maybe dig a little deeper. And you talked about ROI or measuring your results, and you're saying that's an area that you need some help as well.
Yeah, because I know nothing about
Okay,
that.
well, that's okay. Many people don't, and the students probably don't either. So that's something they'll explore for you. Let's see here. What do you want to make sure the students absolutely address in your social media plan?
That's a good question.
They have the calendar they might put out. Do you want them to explore other social media platforms? What would really help you to get at the end of the semester?
I guess really is the analytics is I'd like to know, like, because I have been doing some of the social media for a while and putting it out there, and whether it's the News Miners events page or if it's the Explore Fairbanks page, because I've noticed when I've or fairbanksalaska.com, when I've posted classes on there, people do call right away.
Right.
And I don't know if it's necessarily because of our Facebook page or Instagram or anything like that. So it's kind of hard to say. I'd like to know what is doing better.
Just curious, you have an e-commerce page so people can buy online. Do you have a field that asks, where did you hear about us?
No, I don't think it allows that.
Okay, because it's
during
already
checkout. Yeah,
okay.
because it's with the checkout
Prepackaged.
with the it's
Okay.
it's the cash register program that comes with it. And actually, we're switching over. It was through PayPal, and we're in the process of switching our e-commerce site/website to our cash register system. So all the inventory control is all together, and we'll be able to take more international orders that way.
Okay.
But there's no space for that.
Okay.
I don't know why they don't let you.
All right, so that's a challenge. So we want to know how they heard about us, but it's a little bit of a
maybe
challenge.
we could look into it and ask the register company
Yeah.
if that's something that we can put in.
All right. Well, this is what else would you like the students to know at this point? I want to make sure we cover it all.
Oh, let people know that we moved. Everyone thinks we're still in our old location. Fairbanks is very seasonal, so the students that are coming back, or some people who are just here during the winter, are going to our old location. The sign's no longer there because somebody else moved into our spot, and they're just like, oh, they're gone. Oh, and we're also on Yelp and TripAdvisor, so those sites need some help. I kind of neglect those ones, but yeah, so just letting people know we're still here, because there's a lot of rumors that we no longer exist, or we're just doing manufacturing, that we have no storefront anymore.
All right, so it's another area that students can help is, hey, we've moved. We're still close by campus, but we're in a better location, different location.
Yeah.
All right, so students, you have your challenge. You've met Jenny from Sipping Streams. I encourage you to come in and check out the store. It's pretty darn amazing. And also realize that she does the tea manufacturing as well and international sales. And good luck.